ain't starting.
That's terrible.
Welcome back to the channel. If you are new, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. You can also follow me on Instagram. It's DMW Automotive. If you enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see anything special, go ahead and leave a comment down below. But we're gonna go ahead and hop right into it. Alright guys, it's the next day. Looks like it's pretty well dry. Definitely looks a lot better than it did. It's not perfect, but it's good enough for me. So the first thing I want to do is get all this mess cleaned up. Get the old parts moved away and put all my tools away so I can actually find stuff. Then I'm going to go ahead and try to set the engine down in. One thing I'm not too sure about yet is I have not put the engine mounts on yet. I don't know if I want to do that after it's in the Jeep, because they do kind of get in the way, and you gotta be right above the mounts on the frame, and then it drops down in. So I think this way would make it a little easier, but then again, I don't know how hard it's gonna be to get those on with it in the Jeep. So we'll get to it when I get there. First, I'm gonna go ahead and pick all this stuff up. So I got basically everything picked up. Not perfect still, but it's actually workable now. I'm gonna go ahead and raise it up and let the air out of the tires and try to set it down in place. Oh no, I gotta change the throwout bearing first on the transmission. I should probably do that before I forget. So I'm not 100% sure how this comes out. I'll go ahead and spin this one more time for you guys so you can hear it. Definitely bad. So here's the new one. Sits in there like that. There's clips on it. So okay, I guess I'll just remove this whole thing. So I imagine there's probably an easy way of doing this, but I'm not figuring it out yet. Okay, it's on there. It does just kind of slide in, you gotta force it. It's kind of a pain. Now I gotta figure out how this goes back on. Alright, so I think I figured it out. There's a clip right here. You put it all in place how it should be. You got no noise. Make sure you lined up over here. This clip, I think this goes on the outside of the clutch fork, and this slides back on the ball. So just kind of start up top and press down. It snaps in place. I think it's right. Okay, so that's all good to go. Make sure you don't have anything on your splines or it's not going to slide in. Make sure ain't no rust buildup. It all feels fine. So I guess the engine's ready to go in. So the engine is put in place. I thought I hit record, but I guess my camera's still off. Actually, I had somebody come help me get it down in. Couldn't do it by myself. I got most of the bell housing bolts in. The engine mounts on and in. Starter put in. And now I got to finish the bell housing bolts and put the intake on it. We was trying to get the engine be back more. Once we got down in place, put the mounts on it. And we actually had to take this mount back off in order to get the bell housing bolt started. After we got it started and sucked up, then I put this mount back on and dropped it down in place. It was definitely a pain. Definitely one of the worst engines I've ever done still. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'll probably do a time lapse of everything else. Then I'll kind of explain to you what I did. Alright, got all the bell housing bolts in finally. They're all tight. I hooked up my ground wires here, an aux sensor. The O2 sensor is still dangling. My broken ground wire. I need to fix that sometime. So now I'm gonna go ahead and get the lower part of the intake cleaned and go ahead and get it put on and torqued. It's pretty disgusting, so it's gonna be a few minutes on cleaning this. The top and bottom sealing surface is all cleaned up. It don't look clean, but it's smooth. Best way to tell is rub your fingernail over it. If it catches, then you still got a little more work to do. So now I'm gonna go ahead and set this on the top of the engine, and the bolts are 10 millimeter and they get torqued to 17 foot-pounds. The best thing to do is grab you a long extension because they're down here at angles. So you have some going this way. You can see one right there where my finger is. Another one right there. There is 8 of them, 4 on each side. So I'll go ahead and set you guys up and we'll get this put on. Alright, the intake all installed. Got all the bolts torqued down to 17 foot-pounds. Like I said before, it was 8 of them. And they're kind of a pain to get to. These ones back here, I had to use a short extension and a ratchet. There's my battery ratchet. I was able to get the torque wrench down there to torque it. Now I think next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and run the spark plug wires and mount the coil pack, because the spark plug wires are underneath the top intake. So I think this is going to be the better thing to do. I'm going to go ahead and put you guys back on time lapse and get back to it. Actually, I lied to you. I'm going to go ahead and install the headers. The reason for that is the coil pack mounts over here, and it's probably going to be in the way of doing the headers. So I'm going to go ahead and gather up some bolts. I don't know if you've watched the other video, but there was broken bolts, so I gotta find 2 of them, and we'll get those put on and torqued. I had to go to the parts store and get some bolts for the exhaust. I was trying to find some header bolts, you know, the ones that lock or something, but They didn't have any with the thread that I needed, so I just bought some regular manifold bolts. But they'll do. These get torqued at 17 foot-pounds. So I'm gonna go ahead and start on the passenger side one here. Alright, got the headers installed and torqued. As you can see, it looks pretty good. The hardest part was the driver's side back bolt. I had to get from the inner fender well to get to it. And this one's kind of hard to feed down through because of the AC stuff, but it managed. And then the steering shaft, it kind of got hung up on that, but I got it down. So now I'm gonna go ahead and mount the coil pack and then run my spark plug wires. Alright, so if you're looking at the Jeep or sitting in the Jeep, whatever, the driver's side is the even side. So it goes 2, 4, 6, and the other side is 1, 3, 5. Then your coil pack is numbered. The top row is your evens, bottom row is your odds, with the connector pointing towards you, and the top row is 2, 4, 6, the bottom row is 3, 1, 5. Then your bracket, it took me a minute to figure out how this went, kind of forgot. So it's down right like that. So I'm gonna wait to put that on until I get all the wires ran. Then make sure your coil pack, all of your terminals are nice and shiny. This one's all rusted. So I went ahead with the wire brush. Then I'm gonna get some dielectrical grease. Then I'll go ahead and show you on one of them. How I like to do it is, if I can do this one-handed. Okay, two-handed. Grab the spark plug wire, and if you got a little squirt tube of it, just put it down there and squeeze. Then it gets some in there, it'll smear it around when you put it in. Same way with this side. That will prevent water and stuff from going in and make it a lot easier getting them off. My old spark plugs, the ends of the spark plug wires fell out on some of them because they were rusted in there. So the way I do this is I lay out all my spark plug wires. Then I start with the longest one. Then I run it and then work my way down to the shortest one. So as you can see, they're all pretty well lined up here. So if you follow it down, this one right here is the longest one. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this one. This one should be the one that goes from the coil pack around the intake and then down to number 1 over there. So I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys on time lapse and get all these ran. Oh, hang on. It ain't starting. Good?
That's terrible.
That's pretty much gonna wrap up this video. If you haven't yet, go ahead and like, subscribe. If you want to see anything more in depth, I guess you'd say, leave me a comment down below, let me know. And make sure you check out the next video.